The journal article I selected was Beyond Compositional Diversity, Examining the Campus Climate Experiences of Asian American and Pacific Islander AAPI Students. This study seeks to answer this question: what do colleges do that shape the racialized experiences of AAPI students on campuses? There are several reasons why this study was conducted. Asian Americans are still framed as perpetual foreigners, and they have not escaped their racialized and discriminatory experiences. The authors state that an aggregate perspective on data may lead to the wrong conclusions about AAPI students, that they are academically successful, well-adjusted, and satisfied with their college experiences, which causes them to be excluded from campus dialogues about diversity. This study challenges the notion that compositional diversity is not a catch-all response nor solution to improving campus climate. But despite the vast amount of research on campus racial climate, there was a limited amount of research on AA and PI student experiences. There was also a challenge because of the lack of disaggregated ethnic subgroup data. This indicates again how AAPI students are often left out of campus climate conversations. The framework used is the multi-contextual model for diverse learning environments. This framework centers on the diverse students and their social identities, asserting that the institutional context for campus racial climate encompasses 5 dimensions. Those being historical, formal policies, informal practices that exclude or include student populations; compositional, the composition of racial and ethnic groups on campus; organizational, institutional aspects of the college environment that privilege groups over others; behavioral, social interactions that students have within and across racial and ethnic groups; psychological, student perceptions of campus racial dynamics and the resulting impact on their well-being. The authors employed a mixed method research design using qualitative, in-depth interviews to inform quantitative student survey data. The emphasis is on student experiences, which allows qualitative depth to complement quantitative numbers. Recruitment emails were sent to AAPI student organizations, the UCLA Asian American Studies Center, announcements in AA study courses, and multiple AAPI student group email lists. They also used purposeful and snowball sampling approaches to generate a participant sample that was representative of UCLA's AAPI student population. With this disaggregate perspective, the researchers employed a combination of in-depth interviews with quantitative data from the University of California Undergraduate Experience Survey. These are the types of questions they asked of their undergraduate students as part of the survey. For the compositional dimension, the study captured having faculty or peers of the same race or ethnicity. For the behavioral dimension, it captured the frequency, type, quality, and context of racial interactions. For the psychological dimension, it captured perceived discrimination, racism, conflict, and the perceived campus racial climate. To obtain quantitative data, the authors used the University of California Undergraduate Experience Survey. The authors focused on UCLA in particular because of the diversity of the student body. Questions from the survey centered around student experiences on campus, campus engagement, satisfaction with campus life, and perception of campus climate. Because of the small sample size for specific ethnic groups, the authors aggregated ethnic data into 5 regional subgroups: East Asian, Southeast Asian, South Asian, Filipinx, and Pacific Islander. All research participants commented on the high percentage of AAPI students on campus, but found their sense of community only within their ethnic spaces. Once students stepped outside of these ethnic-centered spaces, they were reminded of their relative isolation within the greater campus community. Asian Americans are often considered similar to white students, but their experiences of belonging are very different. Participants also noted a lack of diversity in administration and representation in the faculty. For intra-ethnic interactions, they found highly positive experiences that were frequent in nature. For interethnic interactions, they found negative experiences, which suggest that even though there is a critical mass of AAPI students, it doesn't necessarily mean that social dynamics between them are positive or uniform. For interracial interactions, the researchers found an overwhelming amount of negative experiences. Many students noted the following issues that contributed to the negative interethnic and interracial interactions due to group-centric thinking, which hindered relations. Though AAPI students make up the largest racial group at UCLA, the idea that there is universal satisfaction based on compositional representation on campus is a misperception. Institutions should help by facilitating positive dialogues and engagement to foster a positive campus climate. There are many implications for this study. Better outreach, support, and education are just some of the ways institutions can help AAPI students feel appreciated, recognized, and supported. There were several limitations noted, and because of these findings, such as the context of UCLA, its location, and the high AAPI density in LA, this study might not be translated easily to other schools across the United States. As colleges struggle with campus climate and face increasing demands to better serve their students, there is a need for institutions to consider AAPI students and how they fit into that narrative and campus priorities. As one of the fastest growing student populations, as well as one of the most overlooked, AAPI students are in a critical position to define what it means to have a positive campus climate. If institutions want the full benefits of campus diversity, AAPI students need to be included in the dialogue. This is my list of references for the journal article that was used for this PechaKucha presentation. I really encourage you to read both the article and this book chapter, as it highlights the different contexts we need to consider in our policy making and procedures as higher education professionals, as one of the major issues affecting higher education is diversity and inclusion.